Jesus reveals the secret to end anxiety and overcome sadness. Powerful prayer. Have you ever felt like you're smiling on the outside but screaming on the inside? Like you're living on autopilot, doing what needs to be done, but emotionally paralyzed inside? Has anxiety become your silent companion? Has sadness been showing up more often than hope? If you've landed on this video, it wasn't by chance. There's something inside you crying out for help. And today, through this prayer, you're going to be confronted with a truth that can change absolutely everything. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. This isn't a motivational quote. It's a direct promise from Jesus to people like you, people carrying burdens never meant to be carried alone. And he's not just inviting you to listen, but to rest, to stop, to surrender, to be healed from the inside out. But before we continue, pause for a few seconds and ask yourself, how many times have you tried to solve everything on your own? How many sleepless nights, silent tears, mental battles that no one sees? This introduction is a wake-up call. You need more than temporary relief. You need transformation. And that transformation begins when you realize that Jesus isn't a distant idea, but the only source capable of rebuilding what anxiety destroyed and restoring what sadness erased. If you stay until the end of this prayer, you'll discover a secret revealed by Jesus that not only confronts what paralyzes you, but also repositions your life. He will touch where no one else could reach. He will reorganize the invisible chaos within you. And throughout this powerful prayer, you'll be guided through 12 deep cries designed to uproot, heal, and free every area contaminated by anxiety and ruled by sadness. Now take a deep breath and prepare yourself for the first cry. Because what's about to happen is not just a prayer, it's an encounter with the one who knows everything you feel, even when you can't put it into words. Lord Jesus, I come before your holy presence, completely stripped of the masks the world has forced me to wear. No outward appearance can hide what's happening inside me. The anxiety consuming me is more than a fleeting feeling. It's a prison without visible bars, yet built with high walls of fear, urgency, and the unknown. My heart beats faster than it should. My thoughts run in opposite directions, and the peace I seek seems increasingly distant. But here I am, surrendered, waiting for you to reveal the secret that changes everything. I no longer want to just survive the days. I want to live in fullness. And I know that fullness is only possible when your voice is louder than the chaos. There's a silence screaming inside me, an emptiness that tasks, obligations, and even moments of distraction cannot fill. I try to mask this unrest with productivity, fake smiles to fool the sadness. But inside, I remain immersed in anguish. That's why I cry out, reveal, Jesus, what I still don't understand. Show me where I'm trying to fix with my mind what can only be healed in the spirit. I don't want to pretend everything is fine anymore. I want true transformation. And I know it only comes when I listen to you with an open heart, ready to obey, even if what you reveal pulls me out of my comfort zone. Anxiety, Jesus, has made me believe that everything depends on me, that if I don't run, it all falls apart. That if I don't control, it all slips away. But today, in the face of your majesty, I recognize I am not in control. And it's okay not to be, because you are. And your control never fails, never delays, never falters. Teach me to rest in your timing, to trust your process, to believe that the invisible is being worked on, even when nothing changes on the outside. Your secret, Jesus, is not about doing things my way. It's about showing me that your way is infinitely better. Reveal, Lord, the peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, that peace that surpasses all understanding, the kind that silences both inner and outer voices, that calms the storm without needing to change the weather because it changes my perspective. Teach me to breathe in rhythm with your grace, to live one day at a time, to understand that anxiety only rules those who forget who's in charge. But when I remember that you're the one guiding, everything inside me begins to align. Restlessness loses its grip, doubt loses its voice, and fear loses its space. Your presence doesn't just comfort, it restructures. When you speak, shadows retreat. When you touch, the weight disappears. So I don't just ask for temporary relief, I ask for a deep change. May you clearly reveal what still keeps me stuck in this anxious cycle. Let each answer come as light, each direction as relief, each detail as healing. And may I not only hear, but respond with faith. Today, Jesus, I'm not looking for explanations for everything. I'm seeking the assurance that you are with me in everything. And that assurance is the secret I desperately needed. Because when I realize I'm not alone, that you walk beside me, anxiety loses the war. Peace doesn't just become possible, it becomes real. Jesus, you know what lies behind the rush I live in. Every hurried step, every tangled thought, every task completed with a heart far from calm. There's a hidden knot, Lord, right in the center of my soul, and this knot has been choking me without my even noticing. It feels like something is constantly pulling tight inside me, even when everything around seems to be in order. This invisible knot holds the fear of failure, the pressure to always be strong, the weight of never being allowed to pause. But today, I ask you, enter that silent and secret place, the one even I'm afraid to face, and begin to undo what I can't reach. Jesus, some of my restlessness doesn't come from the present, but from scars left by the past. They are old voices, unhealed memories, mistakes that still echo and make me run without knowing what from. But you, who see everything and understand everything, know the exact root of this frantic pace. I don't want to keep living in emotional flight, hiding my exhaustion in motion. I want to be healed. Teach me to stop, to observe, to find myself in your presence. Because true peace isn't found in having everything figured out, but in knowing I'm being led. Untangle, Lord, this web that confuses my soul and delays what you want to build within me. Jesus, I admit that I don't always know how to handle this inner turmoil. Sometimes I throw myself into projects that didn't come from you, just to feel like I'm making progress. But deep down, I know I'm only avoiding the real healing I need. You didn't call me to a life of running, but to a journey with purpose. So undo the twisted paths I created on my own, straighten my route, refocus my mind, remove the need to prove something to others, and place in me the pure desire to live for your heart. I don't want to be led by the world's urgency anymore, but by the wisdom of your spirit. Jesus, when anxiety strikes, my first instinct is to do more. Move faster, make impulsive decisions. But today, I understand this restlessness isn't the result of your guidance. It's the result of my insecurity. So I surrender this urge to fix everything. Teach me to take a deep breath before reacting, to pray before deciding, to listen before rushing. Unravel this knot with your patience and teach me to walk lightly. I want to learn to discern the right time, to trust your timing, to rest while you work. I no longer want to run ahead of your will. Jesus, I recognize that this restlessness has prevented me from clearly hearing your voice. In the midst of the chaos, I lose spiritual sensitivity, ignore the signs, and trample over your invitations to intimacy. But today, I stop, and in this pause, I invite you. Speak to me, Lord. Reveal what's distorted within me. Touch where words can't reach. May this knot that binds me now be replaced by a thread of peace, a bond of love, a connection of rest. Because in you, I find what the world never offered me: security without pressure, purpose without anxiety, direction without chaos. Jesus, from this moment on, may every hurried area of my soul be submitted to your pace. I don't want to live by impulse anymore. I want to live by conviction. And that conviction is born in the secret place with you, where everything slows down and finally makes sense. The peace I seek won't come from the outside. It will come from you, because you are the only one who can enter the tightest corners of my being and lovingly, powerfully undo everything that's holding me inside. Jesus, there's pain inside me that no one notices. Silent wounds hidden behind fulfilled obligations and smiles that no longer reflect how I truly feel. Inside me, there are places sadness has occupied without asking permission, like it found a corner to live in. And the more I try to ignore it, the stronger it becomes. But today I plead with you, shine light on the origin of this sadness that follows me like an invisible shadow. Show me where it started, the moment my soul began to dim, because I know you are light, and where your light shines, no darkness can remain. Jesus, there is a kind of sadness that doesn't scream, but it corrodes. It reveals itself in long silences, constant discouragement, and a sense of heaviness even when everything seems light. It's like there's a fog over my spirit, keeping me from seeing beauty in simple things, from finding joy in daily tasks, from feeling happiness in victories that once made me smile. But you know the truth behind my automatic gestures. You see when my eyes are tired, even when my mouth says I'm fine. So I ask you, ignite your light inside me. Go to the exact place where my soul started to bend and lift me up with your strength. Jesus, maybe this sadness was born from something I lost and never fully accepted. Or maybe it was fed by repeated disappointments, by dreams that never came true, by people who left without explanation. Perhaps I'm trapped by unrealistic expectations or hurts I pretend to have overcome. Whatever the origin, I ask you, reveal it clearly. Show me what I need to forgive, what I need to release, what I need to confront. I don't want to live suffocated by unresolved feelings anymore. I want to be free, and that freedom only comes when you show me the truth with your firm, restoring love. Jesus, there's a type of sadness that even wears down the body. It makes the day feel too long, time seem too slow, and the heart feel too small to face challenges. It drains motivation, dries up faith, and turns even good moments into fears that something bad is coming. But today I declare, this sadness has no more hold on me, because you are here. And where you are, there is fullness of joy. Even if everything around me remains the same, I believe something inside me has already begun to change. The simple act of seeking you, of acknowledging you as the source of healing, is already the first step toward the breakthrough I so desperately need. Jesus, I refuse to accept constant melancholy as normal. I was created to truly smile, to live with purpose, to reflect your glory even in the smallest details. And I know you don't rejoice in seeing me faded, hidden without shine. So pour over me your restoring gaze. Look at the part of my story that still hurts and give it new meaning. Show me that no tear was wasted, that no pain was in vain. Reveal that even in the darkest days, you were already preparing a new dawn for me. Jesus, now take my sadness and turn it into testimony. May the origin of the pain become the starting point of a new season. May I not only be healed, but also learn to recognize the signs and help others who suffer in silence. I want to be a voice of hope, a reflection of your true joy. And that is only possible when you touch me deeply, healing not just the symptoms, but the root of it all. Today, Jesus, I give you full access. Come and shine your light on everything. Jesus, my mind has become a constant battlefield. Uncontrolled thoughts, premature worries, memories that keep returning like accusations. Sometimes, without any clear reason, my inner world turns into a storm, and it always starts from the same place, my thoughts. Fear slowly seeps in. Doubt grows like a weed, and anxiety settles in without asking for permission. But you, who know every corner of my being, know how much I need this storm to stop. That's why I ask you, enter my thoughts now and establish your rule. Silence what destabilizes me. Interrupt the cycle of unrest that keeps me from finding rest. Jesus, there are ideas that start small, but within seconds they spiral into destructive proportions inside me. It's like my brain doesn't know how to rest always expecting the worst, always trying to solve problems that don't even exist yet. But you invite me to cast all my anxiety on you, and that's what I choose to do now. I surrender my thoughts. I surrender my future fears, my painful memories, and my distorted interpretations of reality. I know you can renew my mind, and that's what I desire, not just to think differently, but to think from your perspective. Let every thought in me be filtered through your truth. Jesus, what hurts me the most aren't just real problems, but the assumptions my mind creates, the what-ifs that paralyze me, the maybes that steal my courage, the "it won't work" that makes me retreat before even trying. But today, I want to declare with the authority of your word that my mind will no longer be the territory of doubt. It will be fertile ground for faith. May every thought that goes against your promise be removed now. May every lie planted by fear be uprooted, and in their place let thoughts of peace, confidence, and balance bloom. Thinking as you think is what I long for, Jesus. Teach me to renew my mind daily. Jesus, even when everything seems calm around me, the real storm often still roars within me. It's as if the winds are blowing violently in my imagination, preventing me from resting, even in moments of quiet. But you've already proven you know how to calm storms, not just on the sea, but in the soul. So I ask, calm this one inside of me. Say once again, peace, be still, and may my mind obey. May every unruly thought find direction in your presence. Even without all the answers, may I rest in the certainty that you are with me. Jesus, I know the way I think defines how I feel, and how I feel affects how I act. So renew my entire mental framework. Let anxiety no longer dictate my behavior. Let negativity no longer be the filter for my decisions. I want to be guided by healthy thoughts, by ideas inspired by your spirit. Let my mind be a place where peace dwells, not confusion. A space where your spirit is free to lead, correct, and build me. May the old thought patterns be undone, and in their place, a new mindset be born, one rooted in hope. Jesus, transform now the atmosphere of my thoughts. Let the storm cease, and let your peace, which surpasses all understanding, reign sovereign within me. May my mind, touched by you, become a fountain of life, not turmoil. Teach me to think with balance, to discern with wisdom, to respond with calm. Help me trust more and fear less. When I wake, let my thoughts glorify you. And when I sleep, let my mind rest in your care. Because when you enter my thoughts, even the most violent storms fall silent. Jesus, I acknowledge that there are patterns within me that trap me in recurring cycles, situations that seem different but always end the same, decisions I make hoping to change, only to end up right back where I started. They're automatic behaviors, impulsive emotional responses, recurring thoughts that sabotage what you're trying to build in me. And no matter how hard I try to escape these inner places, I end up returning. But today, in your presence, I cry out with all my soul, break, Lord, the hidden patterns that bind me. Tear apart this cycle of affliction. Interrupt the repetition of what brings me suffering. I no longer want to live chained to what I should have already overcome. Jesus, how many times have I found myself a prisoner of habits I swore I had left behind? How many promises of change got lost along the way because of deeply rooted behaviors, formed by pain, guilt, and fear? These patterns, often invisible, are lodged deep in my soul, and only your touch can reach that far. I sincerely ask, reveal what I still need to surrender. Show me the repetitions I've been feeding without realizing. Teach me to discern the triggers that make me fall back. I don't want to go in circles anymore, Jesus. I want to break free once and for all from everything that delays my progress. Jesus, there are times when I think I've changed, but all it takes is a little pressure, and I go back to old ways. It frustrates me, exhausts me, makes me doubt my ability to be transformed. But then I remember, I wasn't called to transform myself. I was called to be transformed by you. The power to break from the past isn't mine, it's yours. And today, I surrender once again. I don't trust in my own strength. I trust in yours. So touch every area where I still behave like the old me, where I still react as if I had never met you, where I still fight alone when I should be following you. Jesus, deliver me from self-justification that keeps me blind. Help me recognize when I'm repeating attitudes I should have left behind. Show me when I'm trying to control what I should be trusting you with, insisting on things I should have let go of, forcing open doors you already closed. Break through my stubbornness, shatter the emotional routine that ties me to sadness, guilt, and the fear of trying again. Make all things new in me, starting with the small things, the inner things, the things no one sees. Let my transformation not be superficial, but deep and real. A change sustained not by effort, but by surrender. Jesus, I will no longer live under the shadow of my past failures. I wasn't created to repeat pain, but to generate testimony. I no longer want to walk in circles. I want to walk in a straight line, even if the path is harder, because I know that with you, even the longest journeys are worth it. Break the cycles of self-sabotage. Close the door to discouragement. Shatter the habit of expecting the worst. Teach me to expect the best from you, not the same from the world. Let your truth retrain me. Let your grace strengthen me for each step outside the old pattern. Jesus, let today be the beginning of a new season. May this not be just another emotional prayer, but a prophetic declaration of breakthrough. Let me look back and clearly see where I stopped, so I won't return. Let me look forward with steady eyes, knowing that you are guiding me. And may I live from this point on with the awareness that I'm not bound to who I was, but free to become who you've called me to be. May the broken patterns give way to new paths, paths of peace, of stability, of purpose. Paths that begin where the cycle of affliction ends. Jesus, there's a silent force that's been crushing me from the inside. Not shouted words, nor loud situations. It's an invisible pressure, subtle, constant, the kind that comes from comparisons, from expectations I can't meet, from the fear of disappointing others. I try to keep my composure, force a calm face, but inside, the pressure devours me. It steals my lightness, interrupts my rest, drains my energy before the day even begins. But today, I stand before you, recognizing that I can't carry this weight alone, so I plead with you, dissolve, Jesus, this silent burden no one sees, but that holds me back from moving forward. Jesus, many times I don't even know where this oppression comes from. It has no name, no set hour, but it shows up in the moments I need strength the most. It makes me hesitate, doubt, question if I'm enough. Enough as a child, as a professional, as a servant, as a human being. But before you, I understand. I wasn't called to meet the world's demands, but to answer your calling. And your calling never imposes, it invites. It never oppresses, it sets free. Teach me, Lord, to distinguish what is mission and what is pressure, what comes from you and what comes from fear of failure. I want to live by your rhythm, not by the tyranny of hurry. Jesus, the truth is this pressure has been shaping my actions. I make decisions based on what others expect from me, not on what you want from me. I seek approval, recognition, validation, and in doing so, I forget that your gaze is all I really need. Before I know it, I'm exhausted inside, pretending everything is fine on the outside. But today, I surrender my need to live up to others' standards. I want to live to please you, and that is freedom. Freedom from needing to be perfect, freedom to say no, freedom to fail, and still be loved by you. Transform my mindset, Jesus. Let the pressure that paralyzes me be replaced by the presence that guides me. Jesus, I know this silent pressure also comes from my own unrealistic expectations. I demand immediate results from myself, instant changes, flawless behavior. I forget that you work through processes, through seasons, through steps. And when I get frustrated for not reaching what I projected, I sink into guilt, self-criticism, and shame. but you call me close, even when I mess up. You don't expect perfection, but surrender. You don't demand performance, but sincerity. So dismantle in me this rigid way of living. Teach me to embrace the process, to respect my journey, to rest knowing you are shaping me every day. Jesus, how many times have I avoided trying something new because I feared I wouldn't measure up? How many ideas have I buried before even taking the first step, afraid of not being enough? But you say to me, my grace is sufficient for you. With this truth, I want to break the wall of self-pressure. I want to learn that the value of my life isn't in outcomes, but in my relationship with you. That true success is being in the center of your will, even if that means saying no to what seems urgent but isn't eternal. Lead me to discern what truly matters. Jesus, from this moment on, I choose to listen to you more than I listen to the pressure. I choose to walk more lightly, even in a world that demands speed. I choose to stop measuring myself by human standards and start seeing myself through the eyes of faith. Dissolve, Lord, every drop of this internal oppression. Let purpose take the place of pressure. Let freedom take the place of demand. And where paralysis once ruled, may courage now rise within me, because when I'm at your feet, I don't have to prove anything to anyone. I just have to trust. And that, Jesus, changes everything. Jesus, I confess that many times I've found myself lost in paths I chose on my own, paths I believed were right, yet ended in frustration. These are decisions made out of anxiety, promises life made and never fulfilled. Expectations that once fueled me, but now have left me empty. I've walked crooked trails, followed advice from confusing voices, and now I find myself here, longing for one thing: direction. A direction that comes from you. A route that doesn't return me to the same place, but leads me to what you planned from the beginning. Straighten my steps, Jesus, because I no longer want to live between shattered hope and accumulated sorrow. Jesus, I've often placed my hope in fragile things, in people, in projects, in human promises, and when everything failed, I thought I had failed too. But you are teaching me something deeper than what the world can offer, a hope that doesn't depend on what I see, but on your faithfulness. Today, I understand that true hope is not just expecting everything to work out, but trusting that even when everything looks wrong, you are still in control. So I ask, redirect my vision. Help me see beyond the chaos. Show me signs of your will, even in the quietest of scenes. Jesus, the roads I chose seeking safety only brought me burdens, not lightness. Some promises lured me with quick results, but led me away from peace. Others distracted me from what truly matters, while I got lost in meaningless busyness. But now, as I pause before you, I see that no direction is worth taking unless it begins in your presence. Lead me, Jesus. I no longer want to insist on routes that only distance me from purpose. I want to follow you, even when the path looks narrow. Even if I have to start over, I would rather walk with you than keep moving alone through familiar yet barren roads. Jesus, redirect my inner world too. Align my desires with your purpose. Let me no longer crave what pulls me away from you. Teach me to desire what comes with peace, with meaning, with eternal purpose. Lead me away from distractions that deceive and draw me closer to what, though invisible now, will build a testimony in me that time cannot erase. Renew my mind so it won't resist the new. Let me be sensitive to your voice, even when it challenges my logic. I know that when you lead, even the unknown becomes safe. Jesus, today, renew the compass of my soul. I've been walking without clear direction, trying to get it right, yet stumbling from exhaustion, hurry, and fear. And when hope weakens, everything around me loses meaning. But if there's one thing that never changes, it's your faithfulness. That's why I place my hope back in you. Teach me to lift my head even after failure. Teach me to try again with a heart strengthened by your promise. Let my steps be steady and my eyes fixed on what truly matters, to please you, to serve you, to follow you every day. Jesus, from this day forward, I want to walk roads that lead to what you prepared, not to what the world pushed me toward. If I need to give up comfort to live out purpose, so be it. If I must say no in order to rediscover your yes, give me courage, because the hope that comes from you never disappoints. It transforms, it sustains, it redefines my future. And on that path, guided by you, is where I choose to stay. Redirect my life, Jesus, and let every step from now on be marked by faith, conviction, and true hope. Jesus, there are days when everything inside me falls silent. My body still moves, the routine continues, the commitments are met, but my heart remains bowed low. It's as if my soul has shut down, too tired to keep going, too wounded to try again. It's not a lack of faith, it's an overflow of pain. It's not ingratitude, it's a deep exhaustion that words can't explain. That's why I come to you just as I am, without strength, without masks, without explanations. Lift me up, Lord. Touch what no one else can reach. Resurrect the part of me that stopped responding, that stopped fighting, that no longer believes with the same passion as before. Jesus, you know every detail of my story, including the moments when I smiled on the outside but screamed on the inside. The kind of pain that is silent to others but deafening to the soul. There are places in me I've given up visiting, memories I buried without healing, promises that seemed too big for the little faith I had left. But today, I give you everything, even the part of me that doesn't know how to ask anymore, because I know even the soul's silence is understood by you. And I know that when you stretch out your hand, even the most broken can walk again. Lift me up, Jesus, not to keep going for appearance's sake, but to start over with purpose. Jesus, sometimes I find myself trying to look okay when inside I'm falling apart. I carry weights I was never meant to carry. I hold on to self-imposed demands that are suffocating me. The desire to give up didn't come from a single event. It's the buildup of small frustrations, unmet expectations, hurtful words, and painful absences. But today, even without pretty words, I call on you. Because I know you don't require explanations, just sincerity. Look into my soul and restore what's been lost along the way. Let life bloom again where dryness has taken over. Jesus, I admit that at times I stopped responding out of fear of being disappointed again. I chose apathy over frustration, silence over vulnerability, stagnation over the possibility of failing again. But you didn't call me to live like this. I was created to be strong, but also to be dependent on you. And today I understand that true strength is born from surrender, so I surrender. I lay down my pride, my resistance, and my fear of feeling again. Let your touch awaken in me what was numb by pain. Let me dream again, feel again, believe again, because when you lift me up, Jesus, I don't just stand, I come back to life. Jesus, I need to learn how to respond even when nothing around me changes, to respond with faith during the wait, to respond with hope even without guarantees, to respond with praise even when the tears are still present. Teach me to have a faith that doesn't depend on the atmosphere, but on your voice. Let my inner being be stronger than any news, stronger than the instability around me. I don't want to be led by emotions, but by the certainty that you are still writing my story. Lift my mind, my heart, my faith. Lift my very essence so I can reflect who you are within me once again. Jesus, today I give you what's left. Even if it feels like little, even if it's fragile, even if it has lost its shine, because I know you are the master of new beginnings. You are the one who takes ashes and creates something new. From this moment on, I will no longer walk by the strength of my feelings, but by the strength of your promise. Even if my inner self has stopped responding, your love has never stopped working, and it is that love that lifts me now, that raises me with purpose, that repositions me with power, that prepares me for the new season that has already begun. Jesus, I've reached the limit of my strength. I've tried to control what's beyond my reach, planned every step in detail, tried to anticipate crises and predict outcomes, and still, life has slipped through my fingers. The fear of losing, of failing, of not being enough made me believe it was my duty to hold everything up on my own. But today, tired and exhausted, I surrender to you what I can no longer carry. I acknowledge my limitations and invite you to care for what is beyond my hands. Take care of the invisible backstage, of the situations that consume me inside, of the answers I can't seem to find. Take care of what only your eyes can see. Jesus, there are things that deeply trouble me but are not within my control. People I love but can't change. Circumstances that hurt me but I can't fix. Paths I wish I could see clearly, yet remain clouded by uncertainty. In trying to control the uncontrollable, I've lost my peace, my sleep, even my joy. But today, in recognizing my powerlessness, I find hope in your sovereignty. You are the God who works even in silence, who prepares solutions while I pray, who moves in the unseen while I rest. Teach me to trust in your ways, even when nothing seems to be moving. Jesus, the control I've clung to has become a prison. I've tried to care for everyone, to fix everything, to avoid future pain. But in the end, all I've done is overload my heart and disconnect my soul from the peace that only comes from you. What I need most right now is not instant solutions, but rest in you. Teach me to accept that some battles were never mine to fight, but to surrender. Teach me to let go of the urgency for answers and live in the confidence of waiting. Let your care replace my anxiety. Let your presence fill the space of my insecurity. Jesus, I know there are areas of my life where I've already tried everything. I've asked for advice, sought out strategies, repeated prayers, and still I feel empty-handed. But maybe this is the turning point, the moment when I finally understand that your care does not depend on my effort. Your faithfulness does not fail when I am tired. On the contrary, it's precisely when I can no longer go on that you begin to act with greater power. So I ask you, enter these places that seem hopeless. Touch with your power what my logic has already given up on. Take care of every detail, even the ones I can't put into words. Jesus, I don't want to keep trying to solve what belongs to your sovereignty. I want to learn to rest while you work. Let my faith not depend on the speed of the answers, but on the certainty of your care. I give you my family's health, my children's future, my career paths, my strained relationships, the doors that have yet to open. Take care of each one of these things, Jesus, as only you know how. While I pray, you work. While I wait, you align. While I'm silent, you speak. I want to live in this true rest that only exists in you. Jesus, from now on, I choose to trust more and try less. I choose to believe in your timing, in your methods, in your ways, even when they don't look like mine. I declare that I no longer need to carry the burden of controlling the world because it's already safe in your hands. I rest in your care and praise you in advance because I know you are taking care of everything I can't reach. And when I least expect it, I will see the result of your faithfulness, not because I controlled it, but because you cared. And that, Jesus, is enough for me. Jesus, many times I've been my own worst enemy. Without realizing it, I sabotage myself with defeatist thoughts, with habits that harm my body, with harsh words I speak against myself. I try to stay in control of life, but I allow chaos to grow inside me. There are silent, repetitive behaviors that drain my emotional and spiritual strength, decisions that seem harmless on the outside, but carry within them a cry for help. Today, I recognize this before you, and I ask, with urgency, interrupt this destructive cycle I began without noticing. Don't let me continue down this path that is emptying my identity and consuming my peace. Jesus, how many times have I fed toxic patterns as if they were normal? Repeating mistakes, postponing choices that would heal me, seeking comfort in things that only deepen the pain. You know the backstage of my soul, the places no one else sees. You know the doors I opened to discouragement, the thoughts of giving up that I entertained, the impulsive decisions made during moments of extreme exhaustion. But now I call upon you. Enter this fragile territory and put an end to the sequence. Disable the root of self-sabotage. Break every voice that convinces me to accept pain as my destiny. I was created to overcome, not to merely survive myself. Jesus, I know there are wounds in me caused by others, but there are also scars I've inflicted on myself. Excessive guilt, perfectionism, harsh self-judgment, these have become tools of internal destruction. I try to demand more from myself to compensate for my failures, and all it does is increase the pain. But today, Lord, I ask you to silence that inner voice that insists on punishing me. Show me the difference between repentance and self-condemnation. Teach me to deal with my mistakes in a redemptive way, not a destructive one. Let your grace rebuild what my rigidity has torn apart. Jesus, how many times have I chosen isolation, thinking it would protect me, when it only buried me deeper? Shame pushed me away from those who could help. The fear of being judged silenced me. The pride of appearing strong made me hide my weakness until it took over. But today I renounce this chosen loneliness. I cry out for healing, for deliverance, for a new beginning. Shine your light into the dark corners where I've hidden. Break the armor I built to avoid feeling, and if I need to cry, let me cry in your arms. If I need to open up, let it be before you. I just don't want to continue this hidden path of self-destruction. Jesus, there are automatic behaviors rooted deeply within me, impulses, compulsions, disproportionate reactions. Sometimes I eat without hunger, sleep without peace, speak without thinking, stay silent when I should open up. These are expressions of what's disordered inside, but I recognize you as the only one capable of bringing order to this chaos. Enter, Lord, into the center of my emotions and bring total reorganization. Align my thoughts, govern my emotions, train my reactions. Interrupt now this flow that leads me to downfall and reposition me on the path of healing. I want to be whole, Jesus, in body, soul, mind, and spirit. Jesus, from this day on, let every one of my actions reflect someone who was interrupted by your grace. Let the cycle of self-destruction become a testimony of restoration. May my mistakes no longer be the center of my story, but may your intervention be the turning point of my transformation. I don't want to keep falling into the same pits I already know. I want to rise as someone who was visited by your restoring power. Today, I choose to let you work in me completely, and in doing so, I declare this cycle ends now. Because when you step in, Jesus, what was being lost begins to be rebuilt. Jesus, I come before you acknowledging that my emotions have been shifting like waves on a stormy sea. There are moments when I feel strong, confident, hopeful, but then one negative word, a painful memory, or an unexpected frustration can cause everything inside me to collapse. My emotions rule me as if they were sovereign, and I find myself reacting in fear, anger, or sadness when what I truly desire is peace. That's why I earnestly ask you, reposition my emotions. Align my heart with yours so that my reactions are no longer driven by instability, but by your constant presence within me. Jesus, I know emotions were created by you and they have their place in the human journey. But the problem arises when they stop being a compass and become chains. When I start living guided by impulse instead of your direction. When I allow anxiety to shape my behavior or sadness to silence my faith. I no longer want to be a prisoner of emotions. I want to learn to feel with maturity, to discern with wisdom, and to respond with balance. Teach me, Lord, to manage what I feel without denying it, without running from it, but also without drowning in it. Let your spirit be the point of balance inside me. Jesus, so many times I've made important decisions based solely on temporary emotions. I acted out of fear, spoke in anger, gave up because of sorrow. But today I ask you to retrain my inner self. Let every emotion first pass through your filter. Let my will bow to your wisdom. Let my soul find stability in your truth. I don't want to be tossed around by circumstances anymore. I want to be like a tree planted by the water. unshaken even when the winds blow strong. And that kind of steadiness is only possible when you are the foundation that sustains everything I feel. Jesus, there are emotions that have become permanent tenants in me. The constant fear of loss, chronic guilt from past mistakes, sadness that shows up for no reason. They moved in uninvited and have distorted my view of reality. But today, I choose to break ties with these intruders, and for that I cry out for your intervention. Touch every emotion that's out of line, set me free from guilt and replace it with grace. Drive out fear and establish trust, dispel sadness and rekindle joy. Reposition my affections, Jesus. Let me feel again what comes from you and reject what does not carry your peace. Jesus, teach me also to embrace what I feel without condemning myself for it, to recognize my humanity without victimizing myself, to understand that even tears have value when poured out before your altar. Help me learn to listen to myself without being led by it, to understand myself without being controlled, to treat myself with the same love you offer me, because only when I see myself through your eyes can I emotionally reposition myself with wisdom. May the emotions that once weakened me now be channeled as fuel for faith. May every tear become a cry. May every unrest become a prayer. Jesus, from today on, I choose not to live at the mercy of my emotions, but to submit them to your rule. I know this isn't an instant process. It's a path of daily learning, and I'm willing to walk it with you. Even when my emotions try to drag me, I choose to remain anchored in you. Even when emotional instability tries to shake me, I choose to align with your presence. Because when you reposition my emotions, I don't just feel different. I become someone completely renewed. And that's the transformation I cry out for now. Supernatural balance in everything I feel. Jesus, for so long, I allowed pain to define who I am. I was shaped by the losses I suffered, by the rejections I carried, and by the words that wounded me. Anxiety became a constant voice within me, and sadness a disguised companion. Day by day, I found myself further from the person I dreamed of becoming and more imprisoned by the pain surrounding me. But today, I come to you, thirsting for a new identity. Not one built by human opinion or soul wounds, but one shaped by your hands, grounded in your truth and sustained by your grace. Jesus, I know you don't see me the way the world does. Where others see weakness, you see potential. Where they point out failures, you reveal promises. And where I have condemned myself, you extend mercy. So today I ask, seal within me this new identity that comes from your heart. Remove from me the labels that limit me, the words that bind me, the thoughts that diminish me. Let my mind be renewed, my heart repositioned, and my story redirected. I want to live as someone who has been touched by you and will never be the same again. Jesus, I've so often allowed fear to speak louder than faith. I carried anguish like an inevitable burden, accepted sadness as a fixed destiny, and let anxiety dictate my choices. But today I boldly declare, this no longer represents me. In you, I am a new creation. In you, I find a secure identity. In you, I have the freedom to start over without looking back. Seal this truth within me, Jesus. Even on difficult days, let me never forget who I am in you. Someone loved, chosen, forgiven, and full of purpose. Jesus, I want my identity to be reflected in my actions, in the words I speak, in the thoughts I nurture. Where there is doubt, let me respond with conviction. Where there is despair, let me bring hope. Where there is pain, let me carry healing. And all of this not because of my own merit, but because of your transforming touch. I want every person who crosses my path to see that I've been restored by you, shaped by your hands, and that I no longer live under the weight of anxiety or sadness, but under the seal of your peace and promise. Jesus, I know identity is not upheld by words alone, but by real experiences with you. That's why I want to seek you daily, so this new truth can be established in me every morning. Let me not only believe it, but live it. with the posture of someone healed, restored, and repositioned. Let anxiety find no more space to grow. Let sadness find no more room to return. Let my spirit be full of courage, my soul full of calm, and my heart full of you. Lord Jesus, as I close this prayer, I declare that from this day forward, my identity is sealed in you. I no longer carry the weight of the past or the fears of the future. I belong to you, and that is enough to live with purpose, with hope, and in freedom. Nothing I was defines who I will be. Everything I've lived has brought me to this moment of encounter with you. Thank you for restoring me, for setting me free, and for revealing who I truly am in your eyes. Lord Jesus, in your name, I thank you for this opportunity. Amen. If you made it this far, something has already begun to shift inside you. Anxiety has been confronted by truth. Sadness has been unmasked by presence. And more than words spoken, this prayer has been a journey of spiritual repositioning. Jesus not only heard what your soul couldn't put into words, he moved. And as you prayed, invisible chains began to break, emotional cycles began to end, and a new identity began to be sealed over your life. From now on, what defines you is no longer the anxiety that used to dominate your days, nor the sadness that used to paralyze your nights. What defines you is the touch you received from Jesus in this very moment. My friend, if this video has blessed you, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell to receive updates on future videos. Don't forget to share your prayer request in the comments below. We want to pray for you. May God pour out abundant blessings over your life. And if you want to go even deeper in your spiritual journey and understand how the Holy Spirit works in emotional healing and inner restoration, consider getting our exclusive digital book on the Holy Spirit. By doing so, you'll strengthen your faith and also help this channel continue delivering prayers that transform. See you in the next video.